Hello friends, welcome back to this series on common grammatical errors in English. I'm your instructor Taran, and in today's lesson we will discuss the common errors in the usage of pronouns. Now a pronoun is a word which can replace a noun phrase. So common examples of pronouns are I, he, us, we, them, they, he, she, and so on. Let us discuss the rules governing errors we make with pronouns. So the first rule states that when a pronoun is used as the complement of the verb to be, it should be in a nominative case. Now nominative case is the same as subjective case. So when I say if I were him, I would not do it. This is a common mistake that people make. The correct sentence would be if I were he, I would not do it. So him being the objective case, we do not use it. We use the nominative case, which is he. Now to be as a verb means the verbs like is, are, was, were. Okay. A few more examples for this. It was me who woke you from a sound sleep. Now once again the verb is to be. The correct sentence is it was I who woke you from a sound sleep. I is in subjective case. This is in objective case. Remember the amazing guitarist I met? This is her. Once again, her would not be used. This is she. Remember the amazing guitarist I met? This is she. Now, the second rule states that when the pronoun is used as the object of a verb or of a preposition, it should be in the objective case. Now look at this. Let you and I do it. Now here it is the object of the verb do. So we would say let you and me do it. Not you and I do it. A few more examples. He told you a lie about where he was Saturday. Now you in all the cases is used as you, except for possessive case, which is yours or your, right? So I could not give you another example for this. Moving on to the next example, will you please tell they to come in? Now you won't use they, you have to use the objective case. So will you please tell them to come in? Now the next example, our grandparents gave we candy and our teeth are just fine. Now you won't use we. The objective case of we is us. So our grandparents gave us candy and our teeth are just fine. Now emphatic pronouns cannot stand alone as subjects. Let's take a few examples to give you more clarity on this. Himself did it. Now it sounds like there's something missing in this sentence, doesn't it? So we would say himself did it. The emphatic pronoun here is himself. So he himself did it. He has to be added here. Similarly, he himself said so. or I myself heard his remarks. He himself painted the walls. The queen herself attended the party. Now the exercise for you here is try removing the word in italics and see if it sounds the same or if it sounds correct. The word in bold like herself, himself, myself is the emphatic pronoun. So herself attended the party, himself painted the walls. Does it sound correct? I leave it for you to think. Now, the indefinite pronoun one should be used throughout if used at all. So, the example given here is one must not boast of his own success. Now, you don't say his own, or one must not boast of their success. You would say one must not boast of one's own success. Now, this is an indefinite pronoun, and the rule says that throughout in the sentence we should use one itself. So, one must not boast of one's own success. One must keep their promises. Now, as I said, there cannot be used. Throughout, one should be used. So, one must keep one's promises. Once again, in the next example, one must count nothing as his or her own in the midst of abundance. Now, you cannot use his own, his or her own, their. You should always use one's. If you're starting the sentence with one, the usage should include one itself. No other pronoun should be used. So one must count nothing as one's own in the midst of abundance. Now the next rule is that either or neither is used only in speaking of two persons or things. Any, no one, and none are used in speaking of more than two. So any one of these two roads leads to the railway station. This becomes incorrect because we are talking of just two roads. Either of these two roads leads to the railway station. Either and two. Neither of these three boys did his homework. Now we are talking about more than two. Therefore, we say none of these three boys did his homework. We invited several friends, but neither came. Now, since we are talking about many friends, more than two, we invited several friends, but none came. Once again, you can either you can take either of the three shirts. You're talking about more than two objects. Therefore, you can take any of the three shirts. Depending on whether the whether it is in positive sense or negative sense, we used any, none, or no one. Now, coming to the next rule, traditionally each other is used in speaking of two persons or things, and one another is used in speaking of more than two. Now, this rule is just to give you an idea what we use traditionally. Nowadays, these two are being used interchangeably, but you should know what was originally correct. So, the two brothers loved one another. Since we are talking of two, we would make the sentence as The two brothers loved each other. Similarly, Jake and Linda really loved one another. Instead, we say Jake and Linda really love each other. Now, Pam, Samantha, and Lynn are going to meet each other. Now, we are not talking about two objects, we are talking about three people here. We're not talking about two people. So, instead of each other, Pam, Samantha, and Lynn are going to meet one another at the park. But nowadays, people use these two interchangeably. Instead of each other, they say one another. Instead of one another, they say each other. Okay, so that's all for today. If you like this course, please do rate and review it. Your feedback is really valuable to me. It will help me give you much better content in the future. So also, if you have any doubts, please leave them in the comment section. I will try to answer them as soon as possible. If you like this course in any way and you want to make a voluntary contribution, please click on contribute. Thank you and bye bye.